So when Games of Valor. Now, come on, you can do better, Dubai May. Legends of Valor. Legends of Valor. Actually, I'll share a little something with you guys. Let me go ahead and bring it up here. So Legends of Valor is a very special game, at least to me, from back in the day. So it was one of the very first games I played as a kid. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Wow! And actually, there's actually a story within a story here. So back in the day when Cardano was having a hard time getting a Wikipedia page, this game came out in 1992. It was just an amazing game for the time, but it's really no one's heard of it. No one plays it now. It had a dedicated, nice long Wikipedia page, and Cardano, a $25 billion project, could not get a Wikipedia page. It wasn't notable enough. I was like, what is going on here? Wikipedia is jacked up. But basically, the idea of Legends of Valor, it came out from a company called Synthetic Dimensions. And I played this game probably in the early 90s. I can't remember the exact year, but I was just a few years old, maybe like 5 or 6. And we got it, and it was on little floppy disks, and played it in my Intel 486 computer on DOS. The game is kind of like one of the very first 3D open world games. So you play a protagonist that's either a dwarf, an elf, or a human, male or female, and you are going to this city called Middle Dwarf, and basically you're looking for your cousin Sven. You're in the city. Now, it's never really expressed or pointed out, but I guess the city was shut down because of an outbreak of a plague, and it's quarantined, but there was no gameplay mechanic for it. So I didn't even know that until buying the clue book and reading the lore of the game. But it's an open world game, so you just start at the gate and you can just walk around and do shit. And there's guilds you can join, and you find out that your cousin is nowhere to be found. But then there's a conspiracy involving the former king and the current king, and you have to unify the guilds to get some skulls, summon a demon, and then he tells you where the old king is, and then you go and recover the old king. Now the problem is the company that made it, Synthetic Dimensions, they ran out of money. And so when they released it, it was incomplete. And so the first challenge with Legends of Valor was that, I'm kind of a little autistic. So I like completing things. I really hate it when things aren't completed unless I've given up on it. I never gave up on it. So I tried to win the game. And I got crazy with it because it had this folded map that was included inside the game. And it had every building, and you have to manually label it. I filled out the entire map structure by structure by structure and mapped out the entire underworld inside the game because I was trying to win the game. It doesn't have an ending, but I didn't know it didn't have a fucking ending. I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. Throughout all my preteen years, I'd come back to this game again and again and again, and I would try to win it, and I couldn't win it. Then eventually my brother, when eBay came out, bought me a clue book for the game because we tried to buy the clue book. My dad called and all these other things to get it, but the company just wasn't selling them anymore. And so my brother bought the clue book on eBay when it came out. So I furiously flipped through the clue book and I said, oh my God, now I can figure out how to win the game. I just could not figure it out. I'm going to win the game. I'm so excited. I did every quest in this game, except for the Temple of Freya quest, because you have to be a girl to do that. And I didn't want to play a girl character. So anyway, I found out from the clue book that there's no ending. So I was just like, and my brain was just like, no, there will be an ending. Fuck these people. So later on in life, I had an IP lawyer track down, after I got crazy, stupid rich. I had an IP lawyer track down the IP owners of the game. And I said, I want to buy that game, just everything. And they're just like, why would you want to buy this? There's no value to it. And all that. I said, I'm going to buy the game. So we negotiated out a deal. And I said, now I own Legends of Valor, the game. And one of my white whales, one of my goals in life is to actually finish the game, actually make an ending for it. So originally we were going to do it Reflect when we set it up, but that didn't work out. And now we got Quantum Hosky, which I think is going to be a phenomenal hit. But we have built a wonderful game development pipeline, and actually now have an RPG company called Husk Brew. And we just released our very first beta campaign module, and our very first video game is coming out here very soon using NES Fab for the original Nintendo. So I'm going to do it in 2 stages. I'm going to redo and modernize Legends of Valor as kind of a remaster. very similar to what Bethesda did with Oblivion 4, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, where I kind of take the game into the 21st century. And I'm going to release it as a browser game. And the goal of releasing it as a browser game is it's one-click install, and I'll probably build it with Lace so you can launch it from Lace, because there's going to be a game center in Lace at some point. Lace is going to be a big game launcher. And then you guys can all see what I saw, but with a fuck ton of quality of life improvements. Like the resolution will be much better. We'll improve some of the combat and gameplay mechanics, really clean up the guild system. A journal system will be included. A mapping system will be included. And a leveling system will be in it because it didn't have a level system. And just a lot of quality of life. And so there's a huge amount of work that needs to be done to make it a game that would be fun and playable for a person with expectations in 2025. Then what I want to do is completely remake the game with a totally different plot. And I've already handwritten that plot out. It's over 60 pages of content. And I'm just waiting for our Hoskbrew team to get to that level. And then we can make it as a AAA title. And probably somewhere during the Unreal 6 era, we'll go ahead and do that. And there's a lot of gameplay mechanics which were quite smart, like, for example, the random generation of NPCs and the random dialogue trees and these things, which would, with agents, be awesome. So I do want to move in that particular direction, but we don't have time for that. And I'm just so incredibly busy. So in terms of the remaster of Legends of Valor, we'll probably start the early game design for that now that Hoskbrew is underway, likely early next year. And we'll put up a dedicated team for it. And as I said, it'll be a browser-based game, and Rust and JavaScript together using a browser engine like Babylon.js or something like that. And we'll build that whole thing up, and we'll create a nice aesthetic for it, and just a ton of graphics assets and these other things. And that will be possible, and we'll get that where it needs to go. The remake will be, with any AAA game, 3 to 5 plus years beyond that point to get it done. But it is something I've wanted to do since I was a little kid, and it's deeply personal to me because I want an ending for this goddamn game. I've wanted an ending for this game since I was like 5 or 6 years old. That's why you don't fuck with me, because I just get stuck on something, and for like 30 plus years I think about it and I say, I'm gonna finish this.